Okay, let's call the meeting to order.
This conference
Everybody-
will now be recorded.
Okay. Can you guys see me?
Yep.
Okay. How come I'm only seeing one person at a time? I think in the last meeting I saw everybody across the top. Do I need to do something different?
You can go in the middle of the screen to view everyone. You're probably seeing just whoever's speaking.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. I'm getting there. Hold on. Okay.
When you have to view everyone on, if there's a document on the screen like now, there's a little
Yep.
bar at the top you can move to bring everybody into your screen. It's got like 3 or 4 little dashes on it.
Yep, sorry about that. I was on 3 different computers. It should be showing the agenda now.
I think, Chris, you probably just have to turn your camera back on.
Okay, so all I see is Mike right now.
All I see is Chris. And Mike,
In the center of your GoToMeeting screen, right on top, there should be a view button. And you can toggle down to how you want that view.
Okay.
Did you get it?
No, I didn't, but I'm okay.
All right.
Okay, so we called the meeting to order. Let's all rise for the pledge.
Yep.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chris, you'll just have to put your camera back on.
Okay.
who?
Chris.
All right. Hold, please.
Caldwell,
Yes.
Babbage,
Here.
Lehman,
Here.
Gildine,
Here.
Flower.
Here.
Okay.
Okay. Minutes from the April meeting. And any questions or concern? If not, I need a motion to accept the meeting minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion to accept them as presented. Bob.
Second by Mike.
I'll second it.
Motion by Bob, seconded by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Mike, any correspondence?
I have no public comments. I just want to check with Bill to see if we had any email ahead of time. Bill?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Yeah, so no public comment.
Commissioners' reports. Ron Lehman, anything to report?
No, not really. Thank you.
Okay. Bob Babich, anything to report?
Nothing this month.
Okay. Mike Geldine,
Been kind of quiet.
good. That's a good thing. How about you, Denny Clower?
Nothing at this point.
Okay, I have nothing as well. So let's move to the reports to the board. Tracy, do you want to take us through the treasurer's report?
Well, It's bleak. We were doing pretty good in golf until we shut down. So April doesn't look terrible. Well, I guess it does now that I'm looking at it. Yes. Corporate fund, that's mainly the revenues coming in there is basically we collected a bunch of money from the state of Illinois for the treasurer's personal property taxes. So that's what you're seeing in revenue in corporate. And then in recreation, you're going to see a big number sitting in there, and that is actually the promissory note. We had to put it in recreation in order to show that's where we borrowed the money from their tax proceeds, essentially. So I put a note in there so that you could see that. Otherwise, we're staying the course. That's the best I can say. It's we're happy to see money coming in with golf this month in May, and rec, believe it or not, rec is trickling in pretty good too. Not a ton of money coming in, but it's not necessarily going back out as much as it was in April. So we're hopeful.
Okay, good. Okay, anybody have any questions on treasurer's report?
Are we getting any tax sent out to us on this first payment series, Mike?
We should have a little bit coming in here in May, and then the bigger amount should come in June from Will County. We have been informed by Grundy County that it won't be until at least mid-July that we would see anything from them.
Okay, but they aren't freezing Will County then, huh?
Not that we have heard of so far. Now, the state legislature goes back in session Wednesday. And I did share with you that Crane's article that they have an appetite for some type of property tax legislation. We just don't know what that is going to be.
Okay, we have gotten some already, though.
Tracy, we've gotten some of that May money already?
No, we're due the week after Memorial Day. We should be getting probably roughly $60,000 to $80,000 coming in there, but it's usually the end of the month, and it's on schedule as far as we know.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions on treasurer's report?
I move that
All right.
bills be paid as approved and this treasurer's report accepted.
Second by Mike.
Motion by Ron, seconded by Mike Galdine. Roll call, please.
Flower. Is that a yes? Okay,
Yeah.
Galdine. Lehman,
Yes.
Babbage,
Yes.
Caldwell.
Yes. Okay. Mike, executive director's report.
Yeah, we've our strategic plan, we're getting that back up and going again. We were kind of sidetracked because of working on our COVID response here. We will have a draft document to the board at the June meeting, and then hopefully have a plan for approval at our July meeting. We're wrapping up our recreation program plan. That was one thing that we needed to wrap up, and I have some capital things I have to wrap up, but my intention is to do that this week to get us back on somewhat of a schedule of approving our strategic plan. The COVID update this month, and Kristen will go through it. It's our only business of this month, but we'll be recommending to the board that Tomahawk Aquatic Center does not open for the season, and our Independence Day celebration and fireworks be canceled. We are also recommending that all the other decisions are going to be based on the Restore Illinois plan, which is part of is a document within my report that you can refer to. Just a point of note about big celebrations. I saw on it must have been either a Tribune or WGN that Rib Fest was canceled in Romeoville. and that is over the 4th also. Royal Trails, George's Landscaping is hard at work up there. They've had a few crews out there. So they've done some retaining walls, walkways, the water play area. So they're moving. I'm hoping to have that wrapped up, or they should be wrapped up, I would think, by September, which that's the only capital project that we are doing this year.
Hey, Mike?
Yes.
Any news on how Arroyo fared after yesterday's rain?
It fared, I would give it a B. The west end and some of the areas that we repaired from last year's storm damage held up very well. The east end, we still have problems with that culvert. That culvert gets blocked pretty quickly and it overflows the pathway. I was just down there about an hour ago. It's still flowing over the path. So we closed the trail until that water comes down. We're going to have to put a box culvert in there. And instead of asphalt paving, we're going to have to look at concrete because it can withstand these rain events a little better than pavement. The asphalt would tend to buckle.
Are you talking right before the boardwalk there?
Yes, I'm talking right before the boardwalk. Yeah. I can share some pictures with the board. I'll do that. I'll do that after the meeting tonight. I took some pictures while I was down there, but that would be one important step for us to take, is to install a box culvert.
Yeah, I would imagine it'll be a little rough the next 2 days in there anyway with all the rain.
Yeah, I would agree. It might. I'm hoping we only have to keep it closed a couple of days, but it depends how these thunderstorms in the evenings hit us and how much rain we receive from those thunderstorms. So,
all right.
Yeah, rain events are always going to be an issue down there, and we just have to work slowly to come up with some plans that we can fight those rain events a little more readily. And a box culvert would do that in that situation, but there are other points along the trail that it'll be a continuing maintenance thing, as long as it is a linear park. But that's a great resource. It's been probably our busiest facility during the pandemic here. It's been extremely popular.
Okay. Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Because I lost the video piece of it, but that's okay. It just keeps saying reconnecting, and as long as you can hear me, I can hear you guys. I'm fine. Is that it on executive director's report, Mike? Anything else?
No, that's all I have.
Okay. How about staff members? Team reports there. Highlights. So I may have lost connection during. I did hear Mike talk about fireworks and pool. Was there any discussion in Mike's report as to everybody's in favor of that, the path forward?
Well, Chris, we're going to have under new business, Kristen will speak more readily to the plan that was developed.
Okay. Okay, good.
I highlighted the two major decisions in that plan, which would be the pool closing and canceling the 4th of July.
Okay, great. Yep. All right. We'll wait till new business then. I'm fine with that.
Yep. And then you would be with Mike Huber now for his report, and then going down from there.
Okay.
Okay. Of course, I'd be happy to answer any questions about my written report. I wanted to lay out for you guys really the restrictions that we're looking at. I'm sure most of you are aware of them, but it's really quite restrictive what we're under right now. We have been able to maybe do a little better than some places from what I'm gathering by taking the approach of taking tee times off of number 1 and number 10. So that's doubled our occupancy capacity. So instead of only roughly being able to host 88 players, we're able to host 176 by doing that. That is down fairly significantly from the 264 we anticipated being able to potentially host. So, you know, it's a pretty big hit. What I do want to share with you through the first 17 days, I ran this today. So of course it's not in my report, but the golf only side of our business is holding against last year's May at about 77%. I think that's pretty good when you consider the restrictions on carts, the fact that we don't have a driving range where we can sell range balls, and there's no lessons taking place. So I'm relatively happy with 77% compared to last May through the first 17 days. The part that's really difficult is the food side with nowhere for folks to sit down. We're only running at about 19% of revenue compared to last May. So we're constantly looking at that and hoping that will free up a little bit and give us the opportunity to generate some more revenue. We are having some okay days when the weather's good. Saturday, I think we brought in about $600 off of our grill and our little setup on the back patio. But when I look back at the third Saturday a year ago, that was roughly $1,100. So that gives you an idea, even on good days, we're down about half. So that's kind of the golf snapshot of it. We are hearing a lot of positive things. People are very happy to be out here and playing. Very minimal complaints. Any complaint that I've seen so far, and I've really only fielded one, was a gentleman that was playing by himself and had a need for a cart and was behind two players walking. And he felt like his round took forever. I'm sure it felt that way since he was probably constantly on top of them, so to speak. But realistically, when we looked at it, his round was more like 4 hours, which I think is pretty reasonable. I know as a single, that's a long time, but when you're out there with, you know, twosomes walking, 4 hours is pretty reasonable at this course. So,
Yeah, I don't think that's out of bounds at all.
Go ahead.
We also are looking toward when we move into phase 3 of the Reopen Illinois plan, that we're not sure we're going to get additional guidance, but we believe through phase 3. You want to speak to that a little bit, Mike? We kind of talked about that this morning.
Absolutely. So in the current guidance for phase 3, groups can gather no larger than 10. So in that scenario, social distancing is still made to be maintained. What we believe is based on that, we should be allowed to have foursomes at that point. I also think that unless there's further guidance, we should be able to go to single rider golf carts to rent a cart to anyone that wants it. Now, I don't think we'll be back to twosomes yet because of the social distancing parameter. But I do believe if we want to, we can go to renting a cart to everyone unless there's further guidance. And I do believe we can go back to our regular tee time intervals so long as there's no additional guidance.
And also the driving range, we should be able to open also in addition.
We think the driving range should be able to open. And I also believe that since you can gather in groups of 10 or less, that we should be able to increase our food and beverage a little bit as well and probably get our beverage card out.
Okay, good.
I will say I want to throw a couple things that are additional in my report. The golf marketing, Abigail, and I know Jennifer's helping her with this, but Abigail has done a nice job of keeping us present on social media, especially trying to keep our folks engaged. She's done some drone shoots. She's posted some relevant content, so I'm seeing that and happy with the kind of response out there on that stuff. And then on our grounds, the guys are doing a good job. Their staff's limited. We're really doing the minimal maintenance necessary. We are continually evaluating that. We initially were on a less frequent mowing schedule. Now that grass is even growing a little quicker than it was a couple weeks ago, some of the stuff is going to have to be mowed a little more frequently, but they're really doing a good job of watching that and trying to help us out from an expense standpoint on the golf course maintenance. So really happy with the work they've been doing. They've continued with our spray applications as necessary. They're doing daily course setup. What you might not see that we normally would do because our numbers aren't as high is, we're not moving the cups around the green as frequently. That's set up once we hit 100 people. That's kind of the gate for us. So they'll move the cups maybe once every 2 days, and then when we get a busy day, they'll get moved again to avoid the stress on the turf. But normally those would be moved pretty much daily. So they continue to do a good job. To keep hearing good things about the conditions of the course, so we're happy to hear that. Anyone have any questions for me?
Just a comment, Chris. I got a chance to slip out and play 6 or 7 holes the other day on the back 9, and Mike, you're right, the course looked really great. Everybody out there looked like they were walking, and those that needed a card had them and was patient with people. So it looked like everything was pretty smooth from where I was, other than where I hit the ball, because I got to look to see where a lot of different people were going that way.
Oh, you were practicing social distancing. So yeah, Ron, thank you for that. I would say that 99.9% of what we are hearing right now is very positive. Like I mentioned, we did have the one gentleman who was a little upset, but really everything's positive. People understand that some things just aren't going to be the way they used to be right now.
Hey, Mike, how is the interaction between the employees and the golfers?
The interaction?
Well, communication and handling of any monies and so on.
So what we're doing, we are not doing any online tee times because we want to have that opportunity to communicate with the golfers what to expect when they get here. And the platform we have for online, I don't think does that effectively enough. So we're telling them, what they're going to do, where they're going to check in, what to expect, the social distancing, all that good stuff. Once they arrive, they're going to the starters check. We have that set up with a point of sale, and they're able to pay with cash or credit card. We're using the window on there as a sneeze guard, basically. So it's open just a little bit in the front so that they could pass their cash through or run their credit card. We do have, on a good day, we have a starter who's out there just making sure that this kind of crossover is working correctly from 18 to 1 and 9 to 10, and that nobody's getting too close together. They're also making sure people are maintaining social distancing. We usually will have a cart attendant. We have been kind of strategically bringing the cart attendant in based on when carts go out. When we anticipate them coming back and needing to be cleaned. We don't just have them here all day. We're able to pull up enough carts typically in the morning that we don't need somebody here all day. So we'll have them come in depending on when tee times are scheduled, when we anticipate carts starting to come back in. We also are trying to put a ranger on when we feel like we're going to have good days. So like last Saturday would be a perfect example. We want to have a ranger out there to make sure people are staying in twosomes. That is something we're bumping up against. People are wanting to go together once they get past the first hole and out of eyesight. So we're having to kind of remind them to please stay in twosomes. But we're really only doing the ranger on busier days when we don't feel like someone else can get out there and monitor it from time to time. And then we have our food and beverage set up on the back patio right now. And that is, we're taking cash there. We're not taking credit card. If they only have credit card as a means of payment, we're asking them to go back to the starter shed and pay for what they want there and then bring that receipt back. It's working. I would like us to get back inside to our window as soon as that's something we're allowed to do. And I know Kristen and I talked today, and she ordered me a couple sneeze guards, one for the grill room and one for the golf shop. So when we're able to get back in, we're prepared. I know she was ordering some for her facilities as well. So that's kind of how it's going. We have asked if you're going to be in, if you can't maintain 6 feet for whatever reason as an employee, or it might be close, especially on the food side, that they wear a mask. We have gloves provided as well. So we've got plenty of hand sanitizer currently. I think we have about 10 gallons. So that should last us for a little bit. And we have more PPE stuff coming every day. So Angie just delivered me some masks today, so we can pass those out. They're multi-use masks. They're good for 30 washings. So we'll pass those out to employees so that, they'll have one. They can't say they don't have one to use. My mother-in-law made several. So before we had those, I passed those out as well, just so folks had them. I know personally, when I leave my office, I'm throwing my mask on typically because I don't know if I'll bump into somebody. And it's not that I'm terribly worried about getting the virus or giving it to someone. It's more about the perception for the customer that we're doing what we can to keep them safe.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
Most of the golfers are pretty accepting of the guidelines.
For the most part, yes.
Good.
Okay.
But I said the bad ones always stick out in my memory, so those are the interactions I remember. But yeah, for the most part, everybody's been very good.
Good. Okay, I can't see the screen, so Mike, maybe take us to the next one. I think it's probably Kristen.
Yeah, it is Kristen.
Yeah.
Things are kind of quiet on the program and facility side right now. Doing all we can with marketing to stay in front of the community through Facebook, organizing what programs we can do virtually. Tried a few things. Free ones seem to be a little more received, but we'll just keep putting things out there and seeing what people are interested in doing. And just keeping our fingers crossed that some of these restrictions get lifted and we can go back to what we know how to do and love to do. So unless you have any questions, it's really been pretty quiet. So.
Okay.
I've got one question, Kristen.
Sure.
Have we explored what we have to do in regards to Perderma as far as liability? I know you kind of mentioned it, but as far as signing waivers or.
Yeah, Perderma hasn't given us as much information as I would have liked. I think there's also just waiting to hear from the state. We will probably take the same approach that Disney and some of those other facilities have done to say that, you're assuming some risk coming into the facility. We're going to, I don't think there's a special COVID waiver that I'm aware of at this time. But we'll put the signage out that, informs people, social distancing, kind of what the grocery stores are doing, that type of information. And, we'll continue to do all our due diligence to keep the facilities as safe as possible.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
An example of that, Kristen had talked about today, if we do group fitness, let's say in the gymnasium, we would put 6-foot X's on the floor where people will know where they'd have to stand, and it's another visual stay 6 feet apart from each other. So that would be one example of something we would put in place. If we have group fitness indoors, and if we have it outdoors, Kristen told me that they'll be putting 6-foot circles in a field, again, to another visual for social distancing and sticking to the reopen Illinois plan. The one thing we won't be doing, Mike, is we won't be taking temperatures. Paderma has said that a lot of people are asymptomatic, so taking temperatures, in their opinion, there's really not a whole point to it. It's a little different when you get into the medical field, but for us, they don't recommend it right now.
Okay,
Yep. So next, I think will be Jennifer in marketing.
Hi, marketing continues to keep our community updated and engaged. Aurora Trails has really become what it once was a hidden gem, and now it's crowded from what I understand. I've been out there a couple of times, but it's really been found. We've done quite a few emails out with updates. We are starting to do some very small surveys to gather information on how people are feeling in regards to our program. We sent out a survey a couple weeks ago for day camp. 79% who responded are interested in 2020 summer day camps. Of those 79%, 76% are interested in Camp Heritage, which are grades 1st through 5th. And then 84% of those interested would still be interested if there were no field trips or swim days. I think a lot of the people that responded are people who have a daycare need. And we've promoted to those people that there's an option for a deposit to hold their place for this summer. I mean, depending on what we can do. Abby's going to start doing some Facebook polls with a few different questions, kind of randomly, just seeking the community's input on things. The next survey we'll do will be group fitness, because hopefully we'll be able to start running those classes soon. And then with sponsorships, we're finding that a lot of businesses just aren't in a very good financial situation, and the ones that are good are contributing to COVID-19 support. Abby has created an Instagram account for the Park District and Bluffs. And if you're on Mondays at 2 p.m., we're having bingo live. Today was pretty funny. They are coming up with some jokes and stuff. I watched it today, but Facebook Live Mondays at 2 o'clock. And Abby's also gotten a few things on Pinterest, crafty things that people can go on and things they can do from home. So that's what we've been doing. Any questions?
okay, thanks.
Next would
Any
be
questions? Yep.
Mainly, what I've been doing is running numbers, running a lot of numbers, running different variables, different ways of looking at numbers, trying to come up with solutions financially with money. I have been dealing with Lori's situation, writing different reports and submitting reports that's needed. I can honestly say that I dream of numbers. So, but it's been a good exercise. I didn't think I would ever have to deal with numbers the way I'm dealing with them. But it is what it is. So other than that, it's been kind of quiet for me.
Okay.
Well, I would say, thank goodness you're dealing with the numbers, Tracy. That's the tough job this trip.
Thanks, Ron.
Okay, any more questions on staff reports? If not, let's move to people for the Park Foundation. Anything there, Mike or Ron? You want to add anything?
Mike, go ahead. I'm been distancing and staying at home with, so I don't have much contact right there.
Beth and Jennifer have been working on some capital campaign and also the trail donations in recognition at Arroyo Trails. The contractor soon will want to get names of who goes on the totem poles and the fishes that go into the donor plaza. So they've been hard at work at that. The Golf Classic right now is reserved for August 28th. We'll see how that plays out and how many people we can have at a time. And then a really neat program that Beth and Jennifer came up with is they have signs out at Arroyo Trails with QR codes on them that visitors can scan and donate to the trail. So that was a pretty neat thing that they're going to get off the ground here shortly.
Right, good. Okay, anybody have any questions on People for the Park? All right. Old business, I don't think we have anything, right?
Yep, none.
Let's move to new business, Channahon Park District reopening plan.
So I'm going to let Kristen take you through this because it's pretty much all programs and facilities. And she, with her and I talking together, she actually, I had her come up with a reopening plan. And after us talking together, this is the final version of that reopening plan that she developed. Kristen?
Okay, thanks, Mike. So, and this is kind of comprehensive, so you can ask me questions. I don't have to go through it all front to start, but the big one that's kind of looming out there would be opening the Tomahawk Aquatic Center. There's a lot to opening up that facility. There's a lot of man hours that would have to go into that on both Pat Fox's side and Angie's side. We have I kind of just outlined some of the bigger tasks that go into opening the pool and some of the preseason costs with that. Those are pretty good numbers. I did have to estimate some of it, but it's a big ticket just to open the doors as far as expense. We are way behind, obviously, for pool pass sales and swim lesson registrations, which is our two largest money opportunities preseason. I don't know how we would recover most of that, to be honest with you. There's some serious safety concerns for not only the participant, but our staff that would be involved. We not really sure how we can even do most of the training. It's a lot of hands-on, it's a lot of touching. It's in the water, kids are barefoot, they have to practice CPR. They're coming up with new standards for CPR. I don't know how they would wear masks. Just from start to finish, I just, speaking a lot with Mike and Angie, we just have a lot of concerns, not only fiscally, but just the challenges of just mitigating exposure to the staff and to the public. So I can answer any direct questions that you have about the pool. That might be easier if you have some questions or concerns, and we can have an open discussion on what your thoughts are and how you see this going forward.
I guess the only thing I was thinking about, Chris, is we got to do what we've got to do, and I think your recommendation is sound. Letting the kids that work summer jobs there that have been coming back year after year need to know right away that what's happening, so maybe they can look elsewhere for a job. I guess that's the only thing I'm thinking about here.
Yeah, we have, sorry, Ron, we've had a lot of staff reach out to Angie. We have a very large returning staff to the pool, 70% annually. We get returning to the pool, which is, great. Great thing for us, obviously. Right. we need to let these kids know what's in the community, you know, where we're at and how we're going to see the pool season this year. So I agree. We really need to let the staff know. Yeah.
Then I think a good public relations, a couple of articles as to how come things are happening like they are. I think everybody identifies to the COVID problem, but it wouldn't hurt them to know ahead of time that you can only do so much with the max of 50 people, let's say.
Right. I don't know if I put it in this report, you guys, but you know, we've heard 300 or 400 people on average through the pool daily. And that's with even adding preseason pool sales with 50, and then you take out the staff, which would be 10 to 12 people. You're maybe looking at 38 people. That just doesn't seem very realistic to me. I've been around a long time. I've been involved with the pool since the very first day it opened. This is my 29th summer at the Park District. If there was a way to open that pool, believe me, I would be doing it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's probably the right thing to do. And to Ron's point, we probably just need to maybe do a little PR work there to let the residents of Channahon know why we're not doing it. And really, it's in the taxpayers' best interest not to do that.
Okay, sure.
So that can come later, but yeah, we probably need to do something there. But I think the right choice or the right path forward is to keep it closed.
Mike, will we need to vote on that or?
Well, we'll vote on the whole plan.
Okay.
Unless we need to break it out, but it doesn't sound like we need to break anything out separately yet.
Okay. So just moving forward then, a lot of discussion on, you know, Skateland. It will become 100% our one of our locations for day camp. Again, until we can get more than up to 50 people, there's not a lot of roller skating that's going to happen over there. But we do believe that Skateland can be used, you know, in other capacities, group fitness, self-defense, and obviously day camp. So the building will be used to host as a host site to other programs once we can start running programs. So that's our best recommendation for Skateland. And when we get up to 50 people, we'll be able to do private rentals, maybe even some limited open skates. So we just have to wait to get that order from the state.
Okay.
As it stands right now, we're in the statistical categories of being in phase 3, but it has to be maintained for 14 days. So it'll be the end of the month before our region would be in phase 3. So I would assume we could potentially be in that phase for a month. And the earliest we look at a phase 4, although it could be quicker, would be July, would be best guess.
Like, I'm pretty sure it has to be 28 days because of the hospital part that's in the Restore Illinois plan.
Right, but I'm saying we have about 14 days left.
Right.
No, a little less than that, actually. It's like the 29th, I think, is the day we.
29th is the current, and then I believe it's June 26th is the next possible gate.
Oh, it's the next possible one. Sure, to go to the next phase. Yeah.
Any questions about Skateland or?
Nope.
Okay, the Heritage Crossing Fieldhouse and Dimensions Fitness Center, that's one that people really want to see open again. I'm right there with you. I'm in that building by myself a lot. We really need 50 people. We really need to get up to the 50 people to open up the fitness center. I think it'd be very hard to manage less than 10 at a time. I'm not saying I wouldn't be willing to try to do something, but I think that we would really need to be in phase 4 of the fitness center. As far as the gymnasium, we would definitely use that for camp and for group fitness classes. So it would be also a rain site for tennis and some of our other programs that we think we'd be able to run over the summer.
Hey, Kristen, would you be able to use both sides?
Well, that's our plan. The school likes to refinish their floor every July. I'm going to reach out to Mike at the school district. It closes down the gym for 2 weeks. So yeah, other than that, we would definitely plan on using the North Gym too. Moving on to the 4th of July. There's just no scenario in the near future that would allow us to have this massive event. It's a great event, but it just draws thousands of people. We have a lot of things we need to cancel. This is a lot of early prep work for bands and fireworks. We need to be pulling the trigger on this one ASAP. It's unfortunate, but we just don't see any way that it's a full expense program for the park district. There's not a lot of revenue. We know that it's a great program, but we just don't see a scenario where we're going to be able to do this program this summer.
Kristen, do you have any donations towards the fireworks?
Jennifer, are you still there?
Yeah, we had a $500 donation from a bank. I was going to contact them to see if they would like to use that money elsewhere. As soon as we get set on what events that we know that we're going to offer, I'll contact them.
Okay, thank you. After that Chris Minor confusion a couple years ago, I was kind of worrying about the donor there. So thank you.
Sure. Understood. Yeah. We think we might have a neat opportunity to run a drive-in movie with the people who run our movie at the pool. So that would be a really good opportunity for a sponsor to maybe roll into that event. So we'll keep that on the front burner. Day camp is the one program that we've gotten really good feedback from that people would be willing to participate in this summer. We would have to limit the size of day camp because we do have limited indoor space. So we'll stretch it as far as we can, but it's probably going to be in the 50 to 60 participant range. It's a very long day. It's 7 to 5:30, so it's kind of staff intensive. So we'd have to really figure that out, but we do feel like day camp is going to be one of our opportunities to start programming again. So, and that would be phase 3. We would have to separate the camp. We probably have to keep families together. We're definitely going to have to redesign the camp this year, but we understand what the standards are there, and we would do everything to meet those standards. Soccer and flag football, they're fall sports for us. We had to cancel the spring soccer league. We did get some people dropping, but our goal was to push most of those people into the fall league. It started a little early. I think that somewhat worked. So we do have quite a few people still in soccer. And our goal will be to get that 8-week season in, even if we had to condense the season into 4 or 5 weeks and do multiple games a week. So our goal would be in phase 4 to get that up and running. Group fitness is something we would do in phase 3, and we think that that can start as soon as June. We have interested teachers, we have the space, we'll be ready to offer group fitness for sure. Preschool is going to be an interesting one. If school doesn't go back, we're going to have to really decide how we want to approach this program, but we're working with Bill and our preschool team to potentially do it remotely. So we got some opportunities that we probably wouldn't have as big of a robust program, but we would, I think we would have an opportunity to maybe do this the way the Galloway's doing their schooling and do a remote program. So that would be our goal for the fall for preschool. And then finally, just every other program is being evaluated into what area it would fall into. We're canceling the ones that we have to cancel. We're deferring the ones we can and rescheduling those. And as soon as we can do what we do, we will do it. How's that? If you have any questions, I'll happily answer them.
No, anybody have any questions?
I just want to kind of make a point to kind of one of Mike's questions earlier about liability and following plans. This plan is geared toward the Reopen Illinois plan. We think that offers us the most protection as far as liability goes, as long as we follow the plan as it's laid out. And that's why we're using that as our benchmark. And that's what we intend to follow when making decisions or recommending to the board what we should do with our programming. And that's that document is kind of a living document. Things can change, but right now that would be the document we'd be looking for the board to approve. It can be a voice vote. It doesn't have to be a roll call, but that is kind of the plan. Not kind of the plan, it is the plan.
Okay. Anybody have any more questions? All right, I need a motion to accept the.
Make a motion to accept it as presented.
I'll second it.
I'll second it.
Motion by Bob, seconded by Ron. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? None? Okay, carried. Now I need a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mike Geldine, seconded by Dennis. Go into closed session. All in favor?
All right.
Okay, how are we gonna do closed session, Mike?
Bill's going to kick everyone out except for the board and myself. So
Okay.
everyone else can log off.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your work.